Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. It's time for part 2 of this 1600 service from Leipzig to Dresden. It's time for more Let's Play Train Sim Classic, I should say. Let's get going. Good afternoon, driver. Today you'll drive the second half of this RE50 service between Riesa and Dresden. Please allow passengers to board here before departing at 16:55. Now you see, this is my complaint about these two scenarios. We just picked up passengers 10 minutes ago. What can you do? Maybe it's supposed to be a 10-minute wait at the station, but obviously between the time that you pull in and the time you actually leave, they don't make you sit there for the whole 10 minutes. Maybe it's supposed to be a 10-minute wait for passengers, and that also allows the train, in case there is a little bit of a lateness, then it just has a shorter layover at the station. Maybe that's why. So for me, it's a complaint. Maybe that's actually how the service works, though. I don't know. In any case, let's get to... But the reason it doesn't make sense, obviously, is because you have to board passengers both times. But in any case, maybe that's how it's designed. Let's get going. Now, one thing interesting here is that the settings in the previous scenario do not remain set. This was an observation that I would make. The instrument lights should already be on. The headlights should already be on. Because typically a continued service is going to keep doing that. Unless they get turned off in between, I don't know. But let's bring up the HUD. And I haven't opened the doors yet. I should probably do that. Yeah, that'd be a good idea, Doofus. Make sure you open the doors before you actually get marked as late for not opening the doors. That would be smart. So, yep, we are going to let passengers on. And I'm going to take a look at our itinerary while we wait. We're going to start here at Riesa. We're going to go to Glaubitz, to Nunchritz, Priestwitz, a service coming in, didn't check who it was, Niederau, Winbohla Hp, Coswig, which... one of these stops, by the way, is a very, very tight stop, and I don't know if that was changed on this run. It looks like it might have been, but I'll have to check when we get up there. Dresden-Neustadt, of course, Dresden-Mitte as well. Had a nice screenshot of my first playing of this, just can't show it to you. And Dresden Hbf, platform 7. So there are 10 time locations. They're going to be worth 100 points each. So let's look at our train as we get started, before we get started. I did it again. Another nickel in the swear jar. No reverse rep before I applied throttle. That's going to bite me one day. Leaving Riesa for our first stop at Glaubitz. Our speed limit leaving is 80 kilometers per hour. And I don't have my notes with me right now, but I think this was the Eld Bridge or something like that. I know the name Eld comes along somewhere in this area, E-L-D-E. I did mention it in a previous scenario coming through this area, I remember. So 120 is our speed limit now as we come off that bridge. Might be while we're still on that bridge. And this first timing is for 5 o'clock exactly, 1700 hours. We're soon going to be going about 2 kilometers a minute. Another nickel for the swear jar. Wrong term. Yeah, 2 kilometers a minute. We're going to be crushing this timing very, very nicely. So we're going to be very early for this. I'm coasting now. Going to make sure that the other brake is not in any effect, so I'm going to push to make sure that other brake is completely released. As with the other scenario, and as I will in the next two as well, I'm not using that train brake, that blue one, at all. Railway crossing. So I'm not going to be using that brake marked in blue as release at all, because the engine brake, the combined throttle brake, does well enough. I don't need to use that other brake, and I don't think that brake is meant to be used. Maybe it is, I don't know. I thought I saw a yellow on that. I thought I saw a yellow, and I'm a little nervous now. That rankled me a little bit. I mean, I'm going to be super early anyway, so I might as well lower my speed a little bit, right? No, there's no signals. Yeah, there's nothing to be worried about. There's no signals. I'm just going to coast. We could go 120, but we've been afforded plenty of time. I don't remember if the timing was exactly like this in the first run of this or not. But either way, again, these are introductory scenarios going back and forth on the route. So, no problem. By the way, that service that pulled by as we were at Leipzig, or as we were at Riesa, that was the opposite service to ours. It was just another Talent 2 going in the other direction from Dresden to Leipzig. So it was an RE50 service also going through Riesa on its way to where we started. That's what that was. So as you see, it doesn't matter what time we show up. We're not going to be allowed to leave till 5 o'clock exactly anyway. So that's our due time at the station. That's when we're scheduled to leave. So there's some kind of signal. It's not marked on the HUD as a signal, interestingly. So I don't know why that one is not marked. Unless that was just a very, very long distance signal. I don't know. So we're going to get ready to make our stop. We're about half a kilometer out. As you can see, I'm just coasting right now because I'm okay for speed. I've been letting the speed drop this whole time, so... Can I get down to 60 before the station? Actually, I'm going to get down a little bit lower because I think we're going to have to... we're going to just barely fit in here again. I don't want to have to necessarily stop on a dime here, so... Get that speed down just a little bit more, and then I'll go ahead and I'll coast in. Nope, still a little more. Quite a bit more, actually. Yep, I came in a little too quickly there. Look at that. Either I'm just barely on or I'm just barely off. One or the other. I don't like that noise. Let's get out of the train quickly. Arrival at Glaubitz, platform 1. I just did a quick poke through the train during the break. Look at this. I like the detail here. That is cute. That is cute, isn't it? I like that. Well done. Let's wait for the train to get going, and here we go. So leaving Glaubitz, now that I can talk and think clearly, our next stop is Nunchritz. It's not too far away, only a couple kilometers away. Arrival time in 2 minutes. Which at this speed shouldn't be a problem, but we're going to have to brake as well. No signals, so I'm not going to worry about signals right here. Telling us to go certain speeds. No point. I'm still not sure what the policy is for signal crossings in Germany. I know in the UK you get a whistle board beforehand, you have to give it a little toot. In North America you have to do a nice long, long, short, long sequence, so you get the ability to hold down the horn for a long time, unlike in the UK where you can't do that. I don't know what the policy is for Germany, but I noticed it's not a long horn. You basically have a little... Oh, you can hold it down. Okay, that one you can hold down. Interesting. So I'm not sure what the policy is for that. So I might be slowing down just a little early here, but I also don't want to overshoot the platform like I did last time. So we'll try to get down to maybe about 50 or less as we enter the platform, which means I'm going to coast right now because I'm not quite at the platform, but now I'm going to start braking again. And this will need a heavy brake now. Actually, not that heavy. Whoops. Okay, if we overshoot slightly, that's okay. We should be, I think, still on the platform at this point. So we have arrived at Nunchritz, platform 1. As we put the brake back to minimal, let's look outside. Leaving Nunchritz, our next stop is Priestwitz. We got a ways to go before that station, so we're getting ourselves up to speed as quickly as we can. We have a 9.5 kilometer journey to get to that station. Now, if you're wondering where Priestwitz is, you know that where we go onto the Bola line in the previous scenario that we did in this area? Or the previous couple scenarios we did in this area. I think 3 times we went on the Bola line coming in and out. We're not going to take the Bola line this time. We're going to be taking the line that goes to the stations instead, and Priestwitz is the first station on that segment. I think about 4 or 5 stations in our journey here. By my count, I think it's 5. No, by my count, I think it's 4. Don't speed. By my count, I think it's 4 because Dresden-Neustadt, Dresden-Mitte, and Dresden Hbf are stops. That's another 300 points, obviously, on our score. So yeah, 4 stations in this stretch that we're going to be stopping at. So you can see that we have a 130 coming up. I may or may not be interested in that. Let's see what information the next signal tells me. I believe this is the yard area for Nunchritz. No indication on that signal, interestingly, so nothing funny going on here. No funny business yet. I see a 12. You see that? There's a 12 on that signal, warning us that the next signal we have to go 120. You dirty, rotten scoundrels. Put us into a 130, then drop us to 120 immediately. We don't even have time to get up to speed, so I'm just going to stay where we are. So the track is rated for 130, but the train is only safe to go 120, apparently, is what that tells me. There's our weird 120 limit now in play. I will be honest, the first time I came through here, I actually swore, wondering why that happened. I was not very happy about that. So now we're up to 130 again. You see that? They dropped us to 120 for the transition, the junction. And now we're allowed to go 130 again, but once again, we're not able to get up to speed, so we're stuck to 120 again. Yeah, that's why I naturally swore the first time I came through this area, because I couldn't understand what was happening, and then I saw the junction. It's like, yep, that's probably why. Okay, makes sense. So now we're back under 120 for good in this section. I don't think we're going to be getting above 120 for a while. We're going to get a section where we have 160 towards Dresden Hbf. But because we're going to be leaving from Coswig, we're not going to get a lot of time at that 160. So we're not going to be too worried about that. Let's see how we do on our timing here coming into Priestwitz. We are still 3 kilometers away from there. But also 4 minutes. So by that math, we have lots of time. The question is, what's going to happen on the signal limits? There's 2 signals here. What's this first one going to say? Nothing. I'll start slowing down a little bit anyway, but I am doing okay. I mean, look at that. I got a minute and a half to kill, so yeah, we're good. Oh, there's a 60 up ahead. Interesting, interesting. I might be dropping to 80 after all. Good thing I dropped my speed a little bit. Though technically I'm early for that. Ooh, 60 at the next signal. There you go. 60 is at the signal. That's why we seem to have a lot of time. There you go. That's the surprise for this area. I mean, if you normally drive this service, you know you're going to get 60 every time. But this is the first time we're doing it. We're being tested on it. So there you go. The test is really keeping an eye on the signals and being able to respond to the signals. In real life, you would not be set loose on this route unless you've had a lot of training on it. So you would already know that 6 was coming up. We're doing it blind. We are doing it blind if it's your first time playing. We have no knowledge of this. So there is the challenge element there. So, perfect. Perfect. Shouldn't be any more reductions here. 60 is the lowest we're going to go for speed limits on most of this journey. I think the only 40 is at Leipzig. So I'll drop my speed just a little bit more here now because we are coming up to the platform. 40 might be a good entry speed. There's our junction at 60. We're down to 42. Here's the platform. We're not really at the start of the platform yet. This is the end of it. Now the fence goes away and we are on the platform. Let's slow down. As we're pulling in a Priestwitz for the first time, we're going to get our first pictures of this area. Train is almost fully in, so I'm applying a heavier brake now. Which is really the way you should do it. I'm going to say that's a perfect stop, guys. Arrival at Priestwitz, Platform 1. Leaving Priestwitz, our next stop is Niederau. Our arrival time is 17:18. We're currently slated to be a couple minutes early, but again, we're not moving yet. 60 is our speed limit in this segment. Gonna go ahead and get ourselves up to a quick speed burst here. I noticed something interesting as I was looking at the map in between stops here. I like to poke around, take a look around when I have extra time. Woo, let's not speed here. When I have extra time, I like to poke around and see what I can find. I notice my speed's going up too. There's an iced tea hanging out over here on the Berlin line. I don't know what the 1651 service is doing. I don't know if we're going to see it or not, but I just saw that over there and I thought I'd show it to you, so I thought that was interesting. So it looks like 60 is going to stay our limit in this little area here, which means it's going to be an interesting downhill 8.0 downhill segment here that we have to manage our speed here. This is going to be very interesting. This might be where using the train brake with the throttle might make sense, but I'm just going to go ahead and manage the speed as usually works for me. Oh, 120 is an hour limit. Never mind. Don't have to worry about that anymore. So we got our speed up to 116. That should be good enough, I think. Our ETA is looking good. Now, I remember the initial look I took at this snare had very, very tight timings. It looks like the timings were relaxed a little bit. Probably a little more relaxed than I think they should have been from what I'm seeing so far. But maybe there's still a tight timing ahead that I'm not ready for. I know that when I first ran this scenario, in order to get a perfect score, I had to stop with the with my train only like 2 cars into the platform or something like that. So Um, as long as I can get the entire train and the platform comfortably and come to a stop, then that's an improvement. We'll see what happens here. So I got myself back up to 117. I do have concerns there may be a signal speed limit, which is why our time is also going on. Maybe, whoa, don't speed. This might be what, the timings might still be tight because I'm actually losing time. I'm up to 17:09 now, 10. So I'm 50 seconds away from my stop, but I still have 6 kilometers to go. This could be still tight after all. I might have just been counting my chickens before they hatched, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to find out. I may have been counting my chickens before they hatched. And I want to say there is another signal imposed limit in this area as well. I'm not 100% sure. Coming up to the station, we might be dropped a little more. 5.5 kilometers to go. We're still going to go about 2 kilometers a minute at this rate. So we're still going at a good rate right now, but yeah, this could be tight. The ETA is not accurate because it's showing basically 2 minutes from now. And we still have a little bit more space to go after 2 minutes. So this is going to be tight. We're still going to be on time, but it's going to be tight. It's the stops after that I'm really worried about because our leaving time is 17:19. Maybe we'll be okay. Winbohla Hp. In fact, I think that actually has an extra minute on it than it used to. I think that used to be a 1 minute break. Now it's a 2 minute break. So yeah, it looks like they did adjust the timings on this. So you're gonna have an easier time on this than I did the first time. That's for sure. There is a station coming up, so now I know where my stop is. On the HUD, it's right there. Where that green marker is, it says Niederau on it. But we're going to have to probably hit this one on a dime. So I'm a little concerned about this because we are in the rain right now. And we're going to have to pinpoint this one to make sure we stay on time. I'm also concerned about that signal. I don't know if there's any kind of signal drop for the speed. And I'm concerned there's going to be. Nope, I did a preliminary drop just in case, but it looks like we're going to be okay after all. I don't see any indication. We need to start slowing down anyway a little bit, so I did, because of the rain, I don't want to try to screech to a halt completely, so letting the speed coast down is not a bad thing, but look how close Winbohla is. That is close. 2 very, very close stops here. See, I feel okay doing a speed lowering right now. This is about the right time to do it, so let's just see if we can make this stop on time, and everything will be gravy at that point. If you don't like gravy, then it can be whatever you want it to be. Mashed potato. No, that needs gravy. Never mind. So now we're going to do a heavy break. 65% is good, I think. And we're getting to the point that we're getting too close to not stopping properly. So moving on to the edge. Okay, break. Oh yeah, I actually did overshoot slightly. I took it off a little too early. That's on me. That's an overshoot. That's okay. We're still within the platform, and the doors would still open in real life, but for us, the front door will not open. Arrival at Niederau. let people know we're still here. So, leaving Niederau, we're on our way to Winbohla Hp. And this is the first really tight stop of the two here. The second one, from my memory, like I said, is even tighter. Let's see if we can get to Winbohla with any semblance of urgency here. And with that increase of speed, I would say we are displaying a semblance of urgency. 100 is good enough, because we need to start slowing down anyway. We are within a kilometer, so we should have no problem getting there by 17:21. The question is how far into the minute and whether we're going to be late for the next stop at this point. I did not see if there was a signal speed being imposed, but I don't think there is any signal shown on the map, so there better not be. I'm coming in too slow at this point. I'm a little concerned here, so I'm putting some power back on. Now I'm going to brake again. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put a big brake on. Because at this point I'm just going to stop and whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta throw caution to the wind and say you don't care. If I overshoot, I overshoot. It'll help the next stop even if I overshoot. Yeah, I'm overshooting. Not the best service in terms of hitting my points here, but we're gonna get all the stops in at least. Arrival at Winbohla Hp, platform 1. Leaving Winbohla Hp. This is the one I'm worried about, guys. Next stop is Coswig. Let's see how this one works. We're going to go ahead and move our speed up to some semblance of fast as quickly as we can. Of course, you can't just take the train straight into 100. You're going to get some drive quality and wheel slip possibilities in this weather. So we had to take our time getting up there. 100 is going to be our speed limit coming up. So I'm just going to go ahead and... unless this signal says otherwise, it does not. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up a little bit now to take advantage of the ability to go a little faster. Then we're going to slow it back down. Service is not, the station rather, is not in sight yet. This concern, there it is. Yeah, this is going to be tight. This may not be an easy stop, guys. Let's get down to 100. I was letting it coast to get down to 100. A little more, please. Thank you. Fantastic, we're good. We have no warnings for any other speed at this point. We may have one coming up, though. We may have one ahead. Look at this, 17:24 right now in about 20 seconds. We are not at the platform. This is the one stop that you're going to have white knuckles on every time, I guarantee you. This is the white knuckle stop right here. This one is not timed properly. So yeah, what I said earlier, it wasn't changed. This wasn't changed. This is the stop that really made me a little antsy. Because I still have almost a full kilometer to go. And we still have almost a full minute to go. As a result. And it's 17:24 now. So we have to start braking. Not now. Not quite yet. But we're going to have to hit this one on a dime. So I'm going to try to hit this one on a dime. Here we go. Wherever we stop is where we stop. Just to make sure we come in quickly enough, and that's all we need to do. And brakes. Attention passengers, to make sure we maintain time, we're just going to stop wherever we stop. Deal with it. Get those doors open quickly. Don't waste my time. Doors open now. I might be a second late, guys. Arrival at Coswig, platform 3. I was on time, guys. Wow. I don't know if there's a little leeway built into that, but last I checked there wasn't. We're leaving Coswig after actually being on time for that. Our next stop is Dresden-Neustadt, and I think we're going to have a little bit more of a luxury for this stop, thankfully. I must have just been on time for that. Another second or two, I would have probably been late. I just saw a signal telling me we cannot go faster than 100 kilometers an hour, so we are going to be accepting this limitation begrudgingly. But there is a 130 coming up that may or may not apply to us. There's also a 160 coming up that definitely will apply to us. Whoa! That was not exactly how I wanted to do that. I wanted to stop at coast. We should. Whoa! Don't do that yet. There we go. Now we're entering the 130. Now, for those of you who remember, I showed you the map earlier, and I showed you an Ice-T wandering along the Berlin line. I don't know what happened to him yet. We'll take a look at him later on. For now, we're going to get our speed up to around the 130 area, and eventually the 160 area. We're going to come to the Radebühl North Track 5 West. And if I'm saying Radebühl incorrectly, or Radebühl, I apologize. I'm not German. I mean, there is German in my family, but we won't talk about that. Because we're not here to talk about ancestry. I think there's Hungarian in my family too, actually. Yeah, this stop looks a lot more luxurious for us, so I'm going to go ahead and just make sure we stay well short of the speed limit here. 150 looks like a good spot to stop for now, because we do have some level ground here to coast on. Let's look for that iced tea very quickly while I have a chance. Where's that iced tea? You want to know where that iced tea is? It was on that line. It would have had to come in this direction, and as you can see, we're coming along and there's a train we're about to pass. So I'll bring up his tag for you. There he is. Meanwhile, the iced tea would have probably been... There's a train that's going to come along here shortly. I don't see the iced tea. Oh, there's the iced tea. He's at the... he's at Dresden-Mitte right now. So we're probably going to see him as we come into Dresden Hbf. He's probably going to finish his service there. That's the iced tea we saw on the map earlier coming along the Berlin line. But naturally, he doesn't take this line that we took, so he had to come along the Berlin line. He didn't have a choice. The iced tea is not a full stopping service. That's the RE50, which we're driving. I'm going to start lowering my speed now, even though there's really no reason to. I mean, we still have 6 kilometers to go. We shouldn't be lowering our speed yet. The 80, I think, takes effect about 3 kilometers away. Maybe 2 kilometers away. What I don't remember is if it's at a signal or if it's at an actual speed board. I'm sure there is a speed board along here as well somewhere. So now down to 4 kilometers to go. I'm lowering my speed just a little more unnecessarily. I probably don't need to. But we are being warned. I think that was an 8. So the 80 is coming up at the signal. I actually was... Hey, we're passing this guy. Number 31039. We, let's just say you're too slow. Well, now I'm too slow. I'm being told to slow down. You're not, so enjoy your fast-paced service to Paima. Oh no, I misread the signal. Okay, yep, that was fun. The 80 is coming up, but I might have misread that signal. I have no idea what that said. I thought it was an 8. It might have just been some kind of white square filling the spot. I don't know. I could have actually gone a little faster, so I might be a wee bit late on this one. Might be. Not 100% sure. Whoa, what happened there? I still have plenty of time anyway. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, that's service to Paima. You're too slow. Might be stopping for us. Attention passengers, we're now entering the city of Dresden. It's a beautiful summer's day here. We advise getting an umbrella. Thank you. I'm going a little too slow here. I should be going 80, not 70. Though the station is straight ahead anyway. We are going to eventually get dropped to a 60 because I know how the signals work around here. I've been through them enough times by now. Our next 2 scenarios on Tuesday and Wednesday will not take us to this area. We're going to actually be heading back to Riesa and starting a service. I believe it takes us through the circle area, heading north from Leipzig, from the underground station at Leipzig, where platforms 1 and 2 are hiding. So that's what we're going to start doing on Tuesday. And then we're going to have another service on Wednesday, which I think is the actual circle line service that ends within the circle lines. So some interesting service options coming up in these next scenarios, and actually some fun service options to a certain extent. If you like white knuckle stops in a couple locations, yeah, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, they are coming up, so keep an eye out for those. Fully expect me to use save games on those services, to say the least. I think it's getting a little darker around here now, because that seems like a darker orange than I saw earlier. That is definitely sunset. How the sun is setting in a clear sky and pouring rain, I have no bloody idea. I'm just going to go ahead and coast for a moment. We are on time for our stop, so we can stop leisurely whenever we need to at this point. Our departure time is not until another minute though, so we're going to take our time, move to the end of the platform, and then we will stop. Or at least, let's try and stay out of the rain actually. Let's stay within the platform. Let's stay within here. I don't want to take our passengers in the rain. Stop right here, please. Stop right here. Stop right here. I'm going to be in the rain. Well, I can be in the rain as long as the passengers aren't in the rain. That's okay. I'm not even in the rain. Okay, arrival at Dresden-Neustadt, platform 7. Dresden-Neustadt. Our next stop is Dresden-Mitte. We've passed by it many times. It's our first stop there. Our limit is going to continue to be M. There you go. Well, it's going to be 80 kilometers per hour at this point. We may be dropping to a 60. Taking a quick peek ahead. For some reason, I had a feeling there was a signal. But no, there can't be. Our arrival time is supposed to be within a minute and a half. There can't be a signal. For some reason, I thought there was a signal coming up. (17:37) is our scheduled stop time. I shouldn't be so trepidatious about this signal because M doesn't really mean anything to me. Of course, the proper train driver reads the manual before trying to guess what these weird letterings on the signals means, and it would have or it may even have it at hand. But unfortunately, my printer is out of ink right now, so I'm waiting for next week to actually get more printer ink, and then I will probably have these things literally on hand to read from as I am doing these journeys for you. So I may have that information for you in future scenarios in paper form, so I don't have to bring my iPad into every single run and drain its battery. Anyway, pulling into Dresden-Mitte. This is another one of those platforms that we barely fit into, so I'm going to just go ahead and coast to make sure we get to the end. Coast, please. Thank you. Make sure we get a little further along here. Nice, casual. That's good enough. An arrival at Dresden-Mitte, platform 4. Leaving Dresden-Mitte. Our next and final stop is Dresden Hbf platform 7. We are leaving at an 80 km/h speed restriction. You see a yellow 6 there, so naturally we're going to be going down to 60 at some point during this part of the journey. And we are entering platform 7, which is a terminal platform at Dresden Hbf, so we may have further reductions we're going to have to pay attention to. Now, for those of you who remember that I showed you the iced tea traveling along the Berlin line earlier, and I mentioned it was at Dresden-Mitte at one point, it seems to have come to a permanent stop inside platform 3 at Dresden Hbf. So that appears to be where it was meant to end its journey, and it has not taken off in the other direction to do another service and face us on the way out yet. So it is just sitting there waiting for us to show up and take pictures of it, which is nice of it. I like that it's waiting for us to take pictures. We'll consider that. You see the 4 on the signal we just passed under the 60? We're going to have a 40 coming up in 0.4 of a kilometer from now. So let's make sure we don't speed for that, shall we? This is a terminal platform, and they are doing their best to make sure that we don't crash into a buffer at the end of a platform or into passengers on the platform. Both are viable options. So let's make sure we follow the rules and not disobey and potentially get ourselves fired and lose our jobs immediately. And, you know, then what will I do for entertainment? I guess I'll have to play golf in that case. I don't know. Golf gets boring after a while. Too much exercise. Now, when I first playing this scenario, I remember seeing something go by in the distance, and I really liked the screenshot potential for it. So I'm going to try to set that up for you and see if I can get that screenshot again, because it was a lovely, lovely picture. And unfortunately, I lost that picture when my hard drive had its problems, which I've already detailed in a previous video. So naturally, I'm going to have to get that shot for you again, and I really want that shot for you. Whoa, don't speed. Don't ruin your perfect score with a speeding penalty now. Look at the, holy cow, look at the gradient on that. That was a 32 or 33 or something like that on the gradient. That That was the label I brought up. We're still on downhill on the back of the train. I have to keep my speed down coming in here. Bring it down to 30 just to make sure we don't speed here. That's the appropriate thing to do at this point. So you see all the trains coming on. There's that iced tea I mentioned over on platform 3. So that was why I brought the labels up. I wanted to show you the iced tea. We're getting a little closer to that buffer than I expected to. Let's make sure we slow down to a slow enough speed. We have to come to a stop anyway because we're now within the minute. But let's get as close as we can to the buffer because that's a challenge. And I like a challenge. Do you like a challenge? I do. So we're 6 kilometers an hour now. We only got 300ths of a kilometer to the buffer. Slow a little more, please. Thank you. The stop should be on time. And that'll do nicely. Almost. Now we will. Okay, let's get our look at the train as we finish this scenario at Dresden Hbf. Okay, we could have gone a little further. Now I know this. Not much further. We actually did very well for that buffer stop. We had the whole platform. In any case, that's the end of that scenario. That's the 3rd scenario in this set. There are 4 more scenarios in this set, plus the bonus scenario if I dare to tackle it, which involves the 660 at some form. Oh look, a freight train in the distance. Let's turn on the tab for a second, see who that is. Ah, beautiful. A service to Pima, and now my tabs are stuck on. Excellent. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to keep my tabs on. Well, that's a fail. Anyway, you've reached the end of your shift. Time for a well-earned break. I'm going to have to turn these tabs off next time I start a service. Anyway, we're done. Let's look at the score. So as you see, we have another achievement. That is the Dresden Talent Achievement. So now the second half of our scenario also gives us an achievement. I guess every scenario has an achievement. I haven't looked up the rest of the achievements yet, but I believe they just all have achievements on them. If I bring up the achievements tab very, very quickly, now that I know you can't actually see my Steam overlay because it's designed to not do that, why does the chat thing not want to move? If I bring up the achievements will probably all be in the game now, and I can tell you about the unearned achievements if they are showing up. And it turns out they are not showing up. That is fantastic that they're not showing up. I love when things don't show up. That's exactly the way things should be. When they don't show up and you have to guess what the achievements are, that is fantastic when that happens. But in any case, I know I've got a number of achievements already. In fact, if I go over my list of achievements I've earned in this DLC, when I find it, I can tell you for a fact that I now have 3 of them. And I also picked up the, in the first of the scenarios you might remember for Leipzig, I actually picked up the achievement for driving 200 in an iced tea, which I actually did on my first run of the scenario because I did not know that was not specific to this DLC. But yeah, Summer Iced Tea, Talent Rain, and Dresden Talent have now all been achieved. And I now just have to see what the other 4 scenario achievements are and see if there's any other weird achievements I have to do for this DLC. And assuming that that's not the case, then if there's nothing else weird, then that's going to be the bulk of the achievements. And I'll be happy about that. In any case, that's the end of this scenario. Let's look at the menu for a second, see what we're doing next time. And this is going to be on Tuesday at this point. So let's see what we're doing on Tuesday. So next time we come back, we're going to be doing the Talent 2 service. This will be the DBBR 1442. So this was a 442. This is the 1442. What is the difference? A nice silvery sheen. The trains look exactly the same, don't they? Because they're talents. Wait, you mean they don't look exactly the same? Yes, because of silver sheen. I told you that already. But other than that, the trains are the same basic models, just the one and some extra features, I guess. But for us, it's the same operationally. There's not really much different here except for the silver sheen and the one on the front of the train. So, and also the numbering, they all have 1442 the number as well instead of just 442. You know, they're special. They get extra numbers. They're older, I guess. Not actually newer, but who cares? In any case, yeah, that's next time. And we're going to have the other 1442 scenario after that. Notice this is a 15-minute scenario from Leipzig to Leipzig. This is the metro service that you have probably expect to see in a city like this. So we're going to get sort of a metro service here on this. And I believe that the service to Stotterit is going to be to a terminal platform. We'll see when we get in there. But because I believe I saw a terminal platform. I was looking at the map for that. So terminal platform 3, I believe, is a terminal. Maybe platform 4 as well. I don't know if there's just 3 or 4 platforms. But in any case, there are terminal platforms there. I have a feeling we're going to be using one because the normal service would not be using those terminal platforms and would be continuing on the main line. And if we're stopping at Stoddard, we'd be stopping on the main line if we didn't do that. Anyway, we'll see when we get in there. But we have a bit of a longer service to start with next time. It's a 55-minute service. You look at this, you might be wondering how it's longer when you start at Wurzen, which is halfway along the route. Going as far as Leipzig, why would it take that long to go to Leipzig, you're asking? Well, again, Halle is north of Leipzig. So we're going to be taking the circle route to get to Halle, basically. And that means we're going to be stopping at all those fast stations on the circle. So that's why it's a 55-minute scenario. It's a long journey along that circle, a lot of stops. That's why it takes that long. That's next time. These other scenarios, the shunting scenario, I have given a shot at this. I'm not a fan of this scenario, but, you know, it's a quickie 20-minute scenario. If you can pull off the timings, you're good. And then we have the Fright to Riesa, which I had my own fun times with, to say the very least. Those are two we'll do at a later time. Those are going to be a little bit trickier to play and do well on. And I know that because I already took an initial play to see how the scenarios ran, but I didn't actually complete them. And I did take a shot at this, but unfortunately I couldn't get the train moving for some reason. I don't know why the train wouldn't move. I don't know if there's something I need to do to make it move, but in any case, that's next time. I mean, that's another time, I should say. And these rail fans are not all career rail fans. There's actually 2 standard rail fans on this route as well. You might notice on Dresden, there are rail fans down here. There's supposed to be 3 here as well, but one of those is missing too. So they don't all show up on the career tab. Some of them are standard. In any case, enough blabbing for me. Next time we are going to do the DBR 1442 Talent 2. And in terms of live broadcasting, this is going to be coming in about 3 days from the day I upload this video. So it's not going to be there immediately. But if you are watching on the playlist and those 3 days have passed, you're going to see that on the playlist right after this. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I am Cyclone. Make sure you follow the channel again. Make sure you subscribe, that is, to do that. You can also like the video. You can join my Discord server. You can support work on Patreon if you wish to. You don't have to, but I definitely appreciate it. It would help me buy more DLC. As if I don't have enough already. And I will see you for the next video. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you at your part of the world. Or if you're staying with me, the next video on the playlist will start in 3, 2, 1.